It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports, Pete.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at a stop. I thought I was fine, and then once I got home, I realized it's a lot worse than I thought. I ended up having a ruptured disc. You say you're not hurting, and then an hour later, you're saying you're in all this pain. I just felt like most people would think that I was lying. And that's when I decided to call Daniel Stark. I owe a lot to Daniel Stark. They really got me what I deserved.
The difference is stark.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
Tervis is all about staying hydrated with style and durability. You can trust Tervis tumblers to keep your drinks the perfect temperature, hot or cold, for hours. From the classic insulated tumblers to sleek stainless steel water bottles, each product is built to last and comes in endless designs to match your personality. Stay refreshed and express yourself with Tervis. Visit tervis.com today and find your perfect tumbler.
Since our founding, we've been revolutionizing hair removal with cutting-edge technology and a commitment to empowerment. The U-Like Air 3, launched in 2023, ushers in a new era of sapphire ice cooling technology, offering nearly painless hair reduction in just 3 weeks. Experience the future of hair removal today at ulike.com, because at Ulike, beauty is about looking and feeling good. That's ulike.com. Ulike. With Ease US, make studio-quality voiceovers for your videos online in over 149 languages and dialects, featuring 468 natural AI voices. Customize the volume, mood, and pauses to perfectly match your content. Plus, capture high-quality videos with no watermark. Record your screen, webcam, and voice, and save them instantly to your computer. Never been easier to create professional-grade videos and voiceovers. Try it today at easeus.com. That's EASEUS.com. Ease US.
Just use AMP-Pace.
AMP-Pace.
Sports.
Boom! The Pete Sousa Show starts right now. We are live in the Alico building. So pumped to be with you. Scotty Swingler just giving us a voice, and we are going to give you a voice too. Make sure you interact with us all show long. We love when people put comments up, and not all the comments, some of those comments about women's basketball. Good grief. We're going to talk about that. We definitely are going to talk about what happened 2 nights ago. We're definitely going to talk about the NBA Finals. And like I said, we want you to get involved, right? Make sure you jump in the chat, jump on the comments on YouTube. Obviously, we love Slovacics. We are so stoked about our relationship with them. Crawford Austin Properties, D1, Daniel Stark Injury Lawyers, and, of course, Socorro Family Ford. Everybody helping keep us on the air, putting us on the air and we are so grateful. Game 6 tonight in Indianapolis, an elimination game, and Tyrese Halliburton's availability is up in the air. I can tell you with that strained calf muscle that he's dealing with, in my experience, watching the NBA, working in the NBA, calling games, that injury will force you to miss at least one game, usually, like 80% of the time. So I would not expect him to play if this was a regular season game, but being that it is an elimination game in the NBA Finals, I can't imagine him not playing. I also can't imagine that when he does play, that the Thunder won't test him early and often defensively. I believe that Indiana has a real shot to win this game tonight solely on the fact, right? And I believe this. This could be one of those just like role players come in and have a huge game at home. TJ McConnell, right, will get extra minutes if Halliburton can't play. How does he play, right? Like he still is in that zone where he's the TJ McConnell, although people know him, he's been in the league for, 12 years now, but Big 12 guy too now, Arizona guy. He's kind of like a pitcher that I feel like still hasn't, like a starting pitcher that hasn't gone through a full season as a starter, right, in this NBA Finals. Like, because his minutes are such that he comes in, is able to make a huge impact, then he's out. You don't get like the full body of work of TJ McConnell, which means you don't get a chance to expose him like you would. You're not as used to him being an opponent. It's almost like a backup quarterback coming in and picking you apart in the NFL or in college football. So a guy like TJ McConnell will have an opportunity tonight to have a big game. And I believe role players will have a big game. And I believe you can only imagine that those fans are going to be crazy. That is a great basketball town. I would imagine it's going to be electric, and maybe it could be some of that could move the Pacers to a Game 7. Last thought for you on this one is that Denver pushed this team, the Thunder team, to a Game 7 earlier in the first round, or second round, sorry, in a series that felt a lot like this one. It's not at all out of the realm of possibility that the Thunder lose. For whatever reason, though, I feel like all of us have kind of already been like, okay, Halliburton's hurt. The Thunder were favored in the series. They're a game away from winning the finals. It's over. I believe that a lot of people feel that way. And one game at a time, the Pacers can quickly change that feeling. And they can do it starting tonight at home. So I think the Pacers are a great underdog. I think it's 4.5 points. Let's get the spread here real quick before we move on to another team in Indiana that I've been dying to talk about. And I'm talking about the Indiana Fever, where it is hot. Let's see. So tonight's game, the spread is, Oklahoma City minus 6.5. So that tells you, the limitations on Halliburton clearly impacting the point spread tonight. And Shai Gilgeous, it's a chance for him to cement his legacy. And think about that early in his career. 33 points, the guy's average over the course of the playoffs. All right, one more thing for you as it relates to this game. I want you to go check out our interview. I put it up on Instagram again today. Chris Williams from News 9 in Oklahoma City took us really behind the curtain as to why the Thunder are so good this year, and as to what to look for in tonight's game, and also just kind of takes you inside. He had a great chat with Vernon, Shai Gilgeous, Alexander's dad, and there's a lot of real cool content on that interview we had with Chris. Switch over. Let's go to the other team in Indiana. I was like bugging out about this because we were lucky to put up that show yesterday because I was traveling, and that was a show I recorded last Friday in the studio. And you guys have really responded to it well, so we appreciate it. Obviously, you can see that Magic Johnson's definition of a superstar. We talked about that and talked about Big 12 basketball. That was yesterday's show. But we didn't get to do like a live show. We'd already taped it. And so I was kind of freaking out on Tuesday night when I saw everything that was going on. I almost I still don't take myself seriously enough to like give a live reaction, but I swear I'm teasing you with this. I think we're going to do this sooner or later. Even I'm serious because I was like, man, I should go because I had so many thoughts, but it's probably better that I got a chance to catch my breath because now I have some notes on it. Okay. We all know what I'm talking about. The Connecticut Sun on the road against the Indiana Fever. Late in the game, well, actually early in the game, it started to get chippy. Long-term rivalry with J.C. Sheldon and Caitlin Clark that goes back to their days playing in the Big Ten, Iowa and Ohio State. Fifth pick in the draft. That's where Sheldon went in the 2024 draft. Of course, Caitlin Clark goes number one. There is a relationship and a history between those two, which seems to be tension-filled. By the way, Caitlin Clark people like jumping in the comments that like we don't know about women's basketball. First of all, and I'm going to get to that, I worked with women's teams at USA Basketball. I worked in the WNBA for the Charlotte Sting a long time ago. But let me just drop some credentials here. I did PR in the WNBA. I worked in the NBA for years. Don't tell me I don't know women's basketball. Don't. And it's quite possible I made a mistake and said that Angel Reese was better than Caitlin Clark in the video we did about a week ago. That's not true. And if I said that, I didn't mean it. Okay? Let's move on. You guys are all over me in the comments. And I want to address that because honestly, at the end of the day, I so appreciate you guys checking this out. All right, back to this incident. So early in the game, by the way, there was an instance where you saw Caitlin Clark kind of get into it a little bit verbally with J.C. Sheldon. And Sheldon says, you can't do that. And Clark responds, I can do whatever the F I want. And by no means does a comment like that deserve a face rake like WWE style that we saw come minutes later. However, it's chippy. That's how it is. And Caitlin Clark invites some of that chippiness. Okay? She is a SHIT stirrer, as my dad used to say, right? Like a Woody Woodpecker. And she's so good, right? She's so good that she frustrates her opponents. And yes, there's got to be some resentment there. And that's okay, right? Like that's a human emotion. Like she came into the league. She is the league. She hasn't won a championship yet. She's only in her second year. She's all anybody wants to talk about. I could get how, a player in the WNBA would have a resentment against that, specifically a veteran or a young player looking to kind of put their mark on a game, or somebody maybe like Marina Mayberry, who doesn't have much of a career and is labeled an enforcer, who absolutely just shoved and rolled Caitlin Clark onto the ground. And you know the incident I'm talking about. So later in the game, J.C. Sheldon is D'ing up Caitlin Clark, real close for comfort, almost too close for comfort, right? Eventually it was. She gives her the face rake. Caitlin Clark kind of bounces up. She gets up off the floor. She's fine. But then all of a sudden she gets crushed by Marina Mayberry, by the way, who's from New Jersey, like Asbury Park area. I knew that. Look out. Tough people there. I'm from Philly. I know. So Mayberry just like checks her to the ground. There was a point where I felt like Caitlin Clark was like O.J. Simpson's character, Nordberg, in The Naked Gun. Like everywhere she went, it was like, boom, she was hitting something. She put her hand down. Oh, she's getting, it was one of those deals where she kept getting whacked around. And that's a microcosm or a window into her career and the lumps she has taken at the hands of her other competitors in the WNBA. So this happens, right? Marina Mayberry doesn't get a tech for shoving Caitlin Clark to the ground, like completely checks her, okay? When Clark goes to the ground, somehow Caitlin Clark got a technical foul and all that, and J.C. Sheldon got a technical foul for the face rake, okay? So then you get the fourth quarter, right? And this is where this gets so interesting because I had said aloud when I saw that highlight, I can't believe the first highlight. I said, I can't believe Caitlin Clark's teammates are not sticking up for her. And it wasn't, things happen fast, right? And you don't want to see a bench clearing brawl. But if you were thinking like I was that her teammates were going to come and stand up for her, you were very wrong. Sophie Cunningham, we see J.C. Sheldon get a breakaway layup late in the game. And Sophie Cunningham kind of catches up to her and almost breaks her, throws her to the ground. Sophie Cunningham, at the age of 6, was a black belt. in Missouri. This is true, by the way. Youngest black belt in the state of Missouri. She played high school football. Okay, don't let the blonde hair and the big smile fool you. And she was feisty playing defense at Missouri. That's who she is. And don't think that the Fever didn't acquire her to sort of look out for Caitlin Clark. They needed some of that. They needed that intensity. It's very similar to Charles Oakley being on the Bulls with Michael Jordan. And we see this even in hockey. I remember Wayne Gretzky had to get enforcers when he was with the Oilers, and then when he was with the Kings. This is how people respond to greatness a lot of times. You try to stop it, and if you can't stop it, you implement the Jordan rules like Pat Riley did, like Chuck Daly did, right? You murder these guys. And I get a little frustrated by a couple things that I saw on the back end of this, right? And again, this is sports. We're having fun. Everybody chill out, okay? This is actually great news for the WNBA. Last night, I legit was trying to find any WNBA game to watch. It was too late because I guess the Mystics or I guess Connecticut had a back-to-back, but it was already 8 o'clock 9 o'clock Eastern, so it was already over. I was back in Texas. But I was legit just looking to watch any WNBA game. Okay, that is a good thing. And it was because of what I'd seen transpire the night before and what I have seen with Caitlin Clark and the electricity now that is shooting through the league thanks to the conductor, right, Caitlin Clark. And I believe that sometimes we as members of the media can really clutch our pearls and take this stuff a little too seriously. I do. It's not like this major dramatic narrative. All this stuff can be true. Caitlin Clark can be the best player in the WNBA. She can also be a little mouthy because that's what happens when you're that good. You have some kind of an ego and you got that chippiness, right? Even if you don't see it all the time. It can be under their breath, all that. It was hard for everybody to understand if you weren't that close to the fire that Larry Bird was the biggest trash talker ever. Larry Bird, literally, Julius Erving didn't fight anybody. And towards the end of his career, Larry Bird was torturing him so bad, he just kept saying to him all game long, yep, I'm going to hit this jumper, nails a jumper. And then finally, Julius loses his mind and freaks out on him, right? And you know the picture of the two fighting. So that is the type of response that an amazing player like Caitlin Clark can elicit, right? It brings about intensity. And yeah, there can be a little bit of resentment. So what? There's professional resentment in every single job. I think, unless the pilot light isn't on, I look around the landscape of broadcasters, play-by-play guys. Yeah, that guy's awesome. I love what he brings to his show. Maybe I can find a wrinkle there that will work for me. But also I hate him because he's got, 20 college football games he's doing, and I only do 5. There's some of that, right? And it's healthy to a degree. I also believe that sometimes there are just younger players, like I mentioned earlier, or players who maybe don't matter that much, who it's I might as well get mine in. Let me knock, Caitlin Clark to the floor. And I have to say, there is, by the way, after the Sophie Cunningham thing, 6 technical fouls were issued, a couple ejections. And I said that because I want to get to the post game where Steph White, the Fever's head coach, Caitlin Clark is asked about the officiating, and Stephanie White does a nice job, right, of protecting her player from getting fined. And I haven't seen if Stephanie White is getting fined or not, but if she was in the NBA, I could promise she would have gotten hammered. Stephanie White just crushes the officials, right? And then something that, again, is one of the same type of the same vibe that will invite the intense response from opponents. Caitlin Clark is look, I love her. You love her. She's awesome. But she was being obnoxious during that press conference, making all kinds of faces. It was sort of juvenile, and I thought that was beneath her. And whatever, it comes with the package of Caitlin Clark, right? And, we can't have it all. Certainly I am not perfect. I am, trust me, okay? So I get it. You're allowed, put it this way. That was something, if that was another player, I feel like they would get a lot of crap for that. And Caitlin Clark just skates on it. I also want to say another thing, too. everyone is coming down on the WNBA officials. And of course, there is room for improvement. I think the Fever coach, Stephanie White, said it the best. And this is, by the way, where I can come in with my experience. You know, I worked in women's basketball. I've said it before, worked for USA Basketball, traveled with some of the best women's basketball players ever, right? Candace Parker, Candace Wiggins. And then I moved on and worked in Charlotte for the Hornets and the Charlotte Sting. And I've always been a women's basketball fan, just because it's in my DNA. I grew up around Villanova basketball, Harry Perretta. And honestly, when you played pickup at Villanova when I was in high school, you would play with some of the girls on the team. I remember this girl, Lisa Baglio. She was like a yo-yo, that dribble. And then we played once with this girl, Jenna Skeeters, who was great at Villanova. And my friend Murph, she had a breakaway layup, and Murph hammered Jenna Skeeters like into the backstop. I think people gave Murph a hard time about that, but Skeeters was really good. Anyways, I've always had mad respect for women's basketball players, and I'm a fan of the game. And being a fan of the game, I can tell you firsthand, which I know you feel the same way if you're watching it all, the game has gotten so much better. It is faster. It is more precise. There is more outside shooting because with the three-point, right, everybody wants to shoot threes now, and it makes sense mathematically. That is a part of the game. You know, the WNBA is not a game where they are going to go over you and dunk on you. It's just not. But it is a game where if you give them a moment, right, you give somebody like Caitlin Clark an inch, she can light you up for a 30-foot three-pointer, like she did earlier in that game against J.C. Sheldon and was talking a lot of crap. And then later in the game, when she pretty much cemented things. But I was a little frustrated. Oh, this is the thing I was saying. Sorry, don't let me get all over the place. So Stephanie White did make a comment, like the league is getting so much better, everybody but the officials. Let's take it easy, okay? There is a lot going on right now, and I feel like this is not foreign to leagues experiencing changes and success. Again, I will go back to the 1980s and early 90s. The NBA, David Stern and Russ Granick, basketball ops commissioner or deputy of ops, they outlawed the hand check in the late 80s, early 90s because it was getting way too physical. And their stars, guys like Michael Jordan, were not getting the opportunities to shine in the face of this brutal basketball, which really was just a crappy way to play. It was a boring thing to watch. I mean, you look back, by the way, at some of the NBA finals, like, and not the MJ stuff, like afterwards when I think it was Pistons Spurs, like there was like 67 to like 65 in the 2005, 2006 NBA finals. Like that was boring. Okay. Basketball is way more exciting nowadays, and it is when you have that free-flowing style of play, which I talked about in the 80s, right, with MJ, and then moving into the 90s, it slowed down a little bit, talking about the Pistons, and now we have totally revved back up, maybe too far in the other direction, but women's basketball is amazing, and the referees will have to improve, and I think that the league, the WNBA, will help them improve. I also think it's tough for a WNBA ref who is probably somewhat inexperienced to jump out there and make a huge call or, you know, shut down Caitlin Clark, the biggest star in the game, or shut down somebody else. I do believe there is an inexperience there, which, again, I think needs to improve. And I think the league will help with that, right? I do believe Caitlin Clark could have a role in improving the situation. I think that rather than always crushing the officials and now crushing the media, the one guy was asking a question after the game, and it was regarding the tussle. And Caitlin, who was probably emotional and it's post-game or whatever, and she's frustrated. She's like, you want to talk about the game? We talk about the game. Well, look, unfortunately, that fight took place on the court during the game. That is part of the game. And the way things work in the media is a credentialed member of the media can ask the question, and then you can answer it however you want, or not at all. Like, that's how that exchange works. So Caitlin Clark shouldn't be telling people what to ask in press conferences. And I think that we've seen that on the men's side and women, like the overpowering strength of players now is kind of wild. Like, the media have the right to ask certain questions so we as fans can get answers. That's how it's gone forever. And hearing Caitlin Clark discuss that tussle is something I feel like we were all entitled to. Bottom line, folks, the WNBA is on fire. And this is a very, very good thing. And it goes back, here's something that I can tell you that I know I'm right about. I've been talking about this for a while. Now, I've been in sports forever, right? Played sports in college, worked in sports, call games now. Now it's the first time I've done like a daily show starting last September. This is the best, absolute best time for anybody to be doing sports talk, Scotty. I mean, think about it. This is, you wake up or late Tuesday night, I'm like, oh my God, like the WNBA. Like June used to be such a dead month. You know, like when I was a kid, you would better hope that you were going to get like a Mike Tyson fight, like in June or July, because it was going to suck otherwise. You had the finals when the finals would end. I mean, I was a big baseball all-star game guy. That's how bad it got. You know, when I was a kid, I was. And now, I mean, every time you turn around, we're about to talk in our next segment about the Lakers getting sold. And there's 3 major teams that have been sold recently. The Mavs, the Celtics, and now the Lakers. I mean, Scotty, what do you when you think about that? Like the health and why sports media is so robust today. I have to believe that the fact that there are no shortage of stories. You know,
yeah, well, part of it's the new landscape, right? Like the fact that we're doing this via YouTube and we have so much more information on these players now, access to these players than we ever had before. That helps. That helps us tell stories. I want to tell a story if we have time today about I saw AJ Dybansta started a YouTube channel and it's actually really good. Like it's really fun, right? So like,
what's so good about it? Let's talk about. Do you want to talk later?
We got to do a break at some point, but let's do it next.
All right, we're gonna step aside. We're gonna do a quick break. My man Kevin's in the house. You gotta love that. The Pete Sousa Show from the Alico Building. We'll roll on after this. We're presented by Slovakics, and we are gonna be right back talking Lakers.
Overwhelmed by your inbox? Clean Email is here to help. Organize, clean, and manage your emails with powerful automation tools. Say goodbye to spam and clutter and enjoy a stress-free inbox. Try Clean Email today at cleanemail.com. That's CLEAN email.com. Cleanse your body of accumulated toxins and embark on your wellness journey at your own pace. At Global Healing, we provide premium supplements to help your body heal naturally. Combine that with OrganicHemp.com's top quality CBD for ultimate balance. Start your healing journey today at GlobalHealing.com and OrganicHemp.com. Unlock a world of convenience with Mully Box, your one-stop solution for personalized subscription boxes delivered right to your door. Each box is tailored to your taste. Experience the joy of surprises. Subscribe today at mullybox.com. That's MULLYBOX.com. At Toussaint's, we understand that maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. That's why our mission is to make fitness accessible to everyone, anywhere. Committed to excellence, we adopt a user-centric approach guided by ergonomics and medical science. With a team of seasoned professionals in R&D, design, and manufacturing, we prioritize quality across our entire product line. Visit Toussaint's.com today and start your journey to better health. That's TOUSAINS.com. BizChair.com. Your one-stop shop for premium commercial furniture that blends quality with affordability. From ergonomic office chairs to durable restaurant seating, we cater to diverse industries including corporate, medical, hospitality, and education. With over 20 years of experience, we offer fast shipping, exceptional customer support, and furniture solutions that stand up to high-traffic environment. Elevate your space with BizChair's vast selection of stylish, reliable, and cost-effective furniture. Visit us today at BizChair.com to transform your business. At Mitzi, we believe the right light can transform any space. Born from a third-generation lighting family, we craft beautifully designed, premium lighting that's made to be affordable. Inspired by Grandma Mitzi's eclectic style, we're on a mission to make high-quality lighting accessible to all. Whether you're updating your space or adding a unique fixture, Mitzi has the perfect design for you. Beautiful, well-made lighting without the high price tag. Discover your perfect light at Mitzi.com. That's MITZI.com. Mitzi. Founded in 1910, Samsonite is the world leader in durable, high-quality luggage and travel accessories. Made to the highest standards, our products won't let you down. We give you the confidence to get out there and explore. Inspired by the past, devoted to the present, and built to inspire a multi-generational future, Samsonite is here to elevate your journey. Travel with Samsonite and pack confidence every step of the way. Shop now at shop.samsonite.com. The grinder mentality that Randy and Brent Habert built into 44 Pro runs deep within our team. Every member shares a passion for the craft, the game, and most importantly, the player. When you step onto the field with a 44 Pro custom glove, you'll feel the difference. It's not just a glove, it's a 44 Pro. Crafted with dedication, made for performance, and built to last. Get your custom glove today at 44pro.com and experience the 44 Pro difference. That's 44pro.com, 44 Pro. Welcome to Kitbag, the ultimate destination for football fans. Whether you're cheering for Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester United, or any other top club, we've got your team's colors running through our veins. From official replica kits to custom player prints of your favorite stars like Ronaldo, Messi, and Kane, Kitbag is your one-stop shop for all things football. Powered by Fanatics, we deliver to over 180 countries, ensuring you get the gear you need fast. For true football passion, think Kitbag. Visit kitbag.com today. That's kitbag.com. Kitbag.
All right, the Pete Sousa Show rolls on. Thanks to everybody watching online on YouTube, of course, and on Twitter. All kinds of action taking place here around the Rogue Media Network. There's a lot that's cooking here. I'll just put it that way. You could be seeing this show and many others in all kinds of different places very soon, which is good news because we keep surging, right? Scotty, 35,000 subscribers for our show? That's crazy, by the way. So thank you guys for that. And, you put up a couple hyperbolic videos about Caitlin Clark and BYU, and all of a sudden you're at the top of the charts. And the NBA and the NBA draft, it's just so funny how it works. But I promise, if you listen and watch every day, you're going to you're going to be compelled one way or another. All right. And I was compelled to talk about this last night. And it's funny, we get so many alerts to our phones now that when I saw that the Lakers had sold, I'm numb to a lot of this stuff now because there's so many huge headlines every day. And I think it's sort of like, okay, wait, what is this? Is this real? Is it not? Regardless of the source, because it's like, okay, it's not necessarily, is this accurate? It's like, okay, now you have the job of figuring out whether this is a big deal or not, because when you turn your alerts on, everything's a big deal. Clearly, it took about 2 seconds. You get into the article, you see it's Brian Windhorst, you see it's Shams. You can tell, okay, this is a very big deal. Dave McMenamin does a great job. The Lakers, which is such an interesting organization, they are, and it wasn't Tim Bontemps, it was Tim McMahon. That he said last night, he was talking to Windhorst and Tim Bontemps on the Hoop Collective, Windhorst's podcast, and they were going over the sale. And this is exactly what I was thinking before he said it. The Lakers were the most glamorous ma and pa store in the world. And that's what they were. I mean, bought by Dr. Jerry Buss in 1979 for $67 million, around that, okay? So they'd owned it for 47 years. They sell it for $10 billion. Now, the sale took place, or there was a vote in order for, and they're giving up the majority. Mark Walter, who also owns the Dodgers, is the majority owner of the Dodgers. He actually, since 2021, I think, had a share of the Lakers. And so this was kind of coming down the pike. Nobody on the inside is really surprised about this, especially when you had Wick Grossbeck and Mark Cuban, two owners that Jeannie Buss is extremely close with. They both sold their teams, $3.5 billion for the Mavs, the share that Cuban sold, and then I think it was $6.1 billion for the Celtics, which it's crazy to see the Lakers blow these guys away. I'm surprised about the Lakers-Celtics thing, that there's a $3.9 billion difference. And this is overall, too. If you get into the intricacies of it, maybe the Lakers or maybe the Buss family's only getting $5 billion, but to get the idea, right? That the evaluation was at $10 billion for this organization. In 2013, this is when a lot of things like, by the way, I mean, we don't have to get into it, right? Like, the Lakers are one of the most historic franchises in all of basketball. They literally have been one of the pillars of the NBA dating back to, I don't know, like you can go all the way back to when they were in Minnesota, really, with George Mikan. So the Lakers have been an amazing organization for the NBA, and they have been able to, you draft Magic Johnson, okay? You trade for Kobe Bryant. You sign Shaq. You acquire Kareem before that. You acquire Wilt Chamberlain. Like star. You re-sign Kobe. Make sure he doesn't leave. You get LeBron. You trade for Luka. I mean, this is an organization that has done an amazing job of just putting itself up at the highest level and finding a way, by the way, because there is not like this money train, right? Like this is a private family. Like the money runs out at some point. But they had still had a way to manage all that. And they also made mistakes. And the Lakers are a great, the Buss family was an amazing ownership group because of the success. But there were some mistakes, and some of those mistakes were like good old boy deals. Like you give Magic Johnson a lifetime contract, right? They way overpaid Kobe, right, on his latest deal, like his last deal. And they take care of their stars, right? You see it with LeBron. By the way, LeBron, there's no chance he's going to, this is not going to impact his decision on July 1st on whether he'll exercise his player option. I think, so here's when a sale like this happens, okay? Again, I mentioned, well, let me get back to this one. Let me put a bow on this. So Dr. Buss dies in 2013, right? And this illustrious franchise is now turned over to his 6 kids. After a lot of pushing and shoving in 2017, Jeannie is elected to run the Lakers, as the governor. But the kids are still involved. I think Jimmy Buss runs the G League team, the South Bay Lakers are called, I think. And then Jesse is the youngest, and he's like the director of scouting for the Los Angeles Lakers now. And he's getting ready for the draft. So I think if you're going to get, who does this affect, right? I think if you're a Lakers fan, this is amazing news because now you have Mark Walter and his group. By the way, Magic is a player in all this, right? Because Magic is part owner of the Dodgers. Lon Rosen, who was always Magic Johnson's marketing guy, now works for the Dodgers. He's as much as he wants to work, but he's one of the heads of the organization. I think he's like a CMO or EVP of marketing and something else. So you have Lon Rosen to sort of cushion any kind of blow for that transition, right? Because Lon Rosen, who was around the Lakers forever when he was doing Magic's marketing, knows the Buss family so well. Well, Lon Rosen was probably a key piece to this deal in one way, shape, or form. So he'll also be a key piece, along with Magic, to smoothing out the rough edges as this deal goes forward, because 15% of the Lakers will be owned by the Buss family for a period to be determined going forward. And Jeannie Buss will still hold on to her role as governor. Again, this is really good news for Laker fans. It's almost like the Buss family has taken this organization as far as they can take them almost. And now in a world where you do $10 billion, it's almost impossible to turn that down. And Jeannie has said recently that she didn't, I don't want to do this forever. My favorite part about this whole thing, and Windhorse mentioned this, there was a vote. It had to be approved. The sale had to be approved by the Buss family. So now we got a succession situation, right? They're all sitting around a table. I think the younger guard, I know, this is what Windhorse said, the younger guard did not want to sell. The older guard did. So you think of the younger guard, Jesse Buss. He's running scouting for one of the biggest organizations in the world, right? Sports organization. He doesn't want to leave. So I can almost guarantee he voted that the team was going to, they didn't want to sell. You can imagine Jim Buss, the same thing. He's active in the team right now. Then you get to the older folks, and they said that Jeannie was a swing vote, and I guess she was finally like, you know what? I'm ready to move on. So it impacts some of the regular players, and I don't want to call them riffraff, but there are like usual suspects for the Lakers, and they are the Buss family. And I would think like Linda Rambis, right? Kurt Rambis's wife is Jeannie Buss's best friend, and she works for the Lakers, and she has way more say in anything, way more say than you could ever imagine, right? And you know, she was a Laker girl. She's Jeannie's best friend, and now she's like running the show with Jeannie. Rob Pelinka is another guy who's sort of untouchable. I mean, if the Lakers, he's done a great job, let's face it, but he has always been safe in a way because he was Kobe's agent. Kobe was a made man with the Lakers. You know, Jeannie Buss loves Rob, apparently. So Pelinka is there. He was like, you thought untouchable or as untouchable as you could get. Well, that's probably gone. Now you have a new ownership group who is committed to winning because the Dodgers just won another World Series, and they're clearly not taking the foot off the gas anytime soon. And one of another player in all this is the second apron, right? The luxury tax, because it's not as though the Lakers are going to seek to go over that tax now, right? But they have an owner who is way more equipped to pay any kind of extra tax if you go over those caps than you did before. It's not an invitation to go crazy. It's not baseball, right? You can't just spend whatever you want, but there won't be as stringent a policy in-house with the Lakers, I would imagine, on whether you go a little bit over. You got somebody with way deeper pockets. I think for the historic, the NBA's history, it makes me sad that the Buss family is out of this. It's just kind of like, you know, there were a couple things about the NBA. I think Herb Simon, I know Herb Simon, right? The Kevin's in here. Herb Simon has owned the Pacers since '83. So now he's the longest running owner in the NBA. But yeah, I mean, all this stuff is owned by major corporations. It is what it is. I'm sad. I love Jeannie Buss. Always had like a huge crush on her. She always seems so nice. And, you know, her family is like super interesting. There's a great documentary. If you want to get background on this whole situation, and it is like a documercial because it was done by the Lakers, but it's called Dynasty. It was, I watched it on Hulu. It came out maybe 2-3 years ago. It's really good. And it gets into Dr. Buss. It gets into some of the infighting amongst those siblings, because I mean, I could only imagine if my three brothers and I were like, you know, adjacent or a direct contact, right, to this this amazing empire when we were in our 20s and for me 30s, that would have been a disaster. So you can imagine there was a lot of drama around that family and that team. But yeah, super interesting. I'm sad, but I'm also a little happy. You know, $10 million is a ton of money. I'm seeing if I had anything else. There's a lot of money. Anything else on this? No, I don't. All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back. Scotty's got a real bug up his ass about this AJ Dybansta YouTube channel.
Wait, I know you like to tease segments.
A bug up, that's good. You want to talk about it, all right?
I just said it's freaking cool. Now
cool.
I gotta.
No. I mean, you got like a hankering to talk about it. So that's what I mean. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about AJ Dybansta, his amazing YouTube channel. And also Scott Drew said something. And Scotty Swingler's going to tell us about it. The Pete Sousa Show rolls on after this.
Dive into adventure with scuba.com, your ultimate destination for top-tier scuba and snorkeling gear. With over 20 years of experience, our expert staff, who've dived everywhere from the Galapagos to the Maldives, provides personalized advice to help you find the perfect gear for any underwater journey. Shop leading brands like GoPro, Aqualung, and Scuba Pro. Whether you're a beginner or a pro, trust scuba.com for the best in diving equipment and expert guidance. Explore now at scuba.com. That's SCUBA.com. Scuba.com. At Fullwell, we bring together the expertise of registered dietitians, MDs, and OBGYNs to give you the best fertility support. Our research-backed bioavailable formulas are crafted with your health in mind, ensuring the highest quality and safety. From preconception to pregnancy and beyond, we exceed industry standards with independent testing for harmful contaminants. With our comprehensive practitioner directory, personalized care is always within reach. Fullwell, your trusted partner on your fertility journey. Visit us at fullwellfertility.com. Experience the perfect blend of exquisite craftsmanship and life-changing technology with Gevi. Every product is built with precision, featuring specialized parts that ensure durability, efficiency, and safety. We put every machine through 6,000 rigorous tests to guarantee long-lasting performance. With cutting-edge technology and a commitment to energy efficiency, Gevi makes your life easier, greener, and more convenient. Upgrade your everyday with Gevi. Visit us at gevi.com to discover more. That's gevi.com.
With San, owning iconic furniture no longer requires paying a premium. We use the finest materials like Italian top-grain leather, known for its durability and luxurious feel, and apply meticulous attention to detail in every piece we create. Our replicas are crafted with the same care and precision as the originals, but a price that makes them accessible. With over 15,000 satisfied customers worldwide, we've proven that high-quality furniture doesn't have to come with a high price tag. Explore our collection today at san.com.
At Covers & All, we've revolutionized protective solutions with cutting-edge, customizable covers, tarps, and curtains. Using advanced tech fabrics that are 100% waterproof, UV tear, and abrasion resistant, we ensure lasting durability with hand-sewn double-stitch seams. Our commitment to quality, precision engineering, and customizable options is unmatched. With vertically integrated operations and express shipping, we deliver premier protection at affordable prices. Visit coversandall.com today for the perfect fit, guaranteed to last.
At Open Goal USA, we're revolutionizing training for both soccer and lacrosse with our innovative portable rebounders. Perfect for players of all ages and skill levels, our rebounders improve accuracy, control, and technique in both sports. Built with premium materials for durability and ease of use, they're ideal for training anywhere, anytime. Whether you're perfecting your soccer game or sharpening your lacrosse skills, Open Goal USA has you covered. Visit OpenGoAAALUSA.com and elevate your training today.
Relax with Hemp Delicious. Organically grown hemp, massively blended with delicious organic herbs, responsibly sourced for their holistic benefits. Each sip offers calming, antioxidant-rich wellness. Brewed just for you. Sip the calm with Hemp Delicious. Find your blend at hempdelicious.com.
Introducing Muck-Off's classic pink bike cleaner, powered by revolutionary nanotechnology that breaks down dirt and grime on a microscopic level while protecting your bike's delicate finish. Developed by our mad developer Alex and tested by riders, our products are made by riders for riders. Discover more at us.muc-off.com, where we break the mold to bring you the best in bike care.
Get paid faster with Bill, the easiest way to send, receive, and manage your payments. No more delays, no more hassle. Whether you're a freelancer or a business, Bill makes payments seamless and secure, simple, fast, and reliable. Sign up today at Bill.com.
All right, it's the Pete Sousa Show on a Thursday. We are live here from the Alico building in Central Texas, downtown Waco. Hey, a lot of stuff happening in the Big 12. We got like a Big 12 reunion going on out in Colorado Springs right now, where there's training for the U19 men's, I guess it's a FIBA World Cup team.
Bingo
for USA basketball. And I know that training facility, like it's nothing like. Let me tell you. Let's take it back. I haven't been there in 20 years. But the facility, I remember, it's sort of like, it's not like this mecca of basketball. You got a bunch of courts together, and it's obvious the guys right now from the pictures we're seeing are training. Tommy Lloyd is the head coach, Big 12 guy, Arizona. Grant McCaslam, one of his assistants, and we got AJ Dybansta out there just playing out of his mind. The quote is that from a scout or someone of note was that he's playing like he's from another planet, and that not only is he like giving, remember now this is like a workout. I mean, he's, so like you're not necessarily like, there aren't games yet, right? But like he's dominating, and apparently in one of the games where his team was down late, he basically willed them, dug in, played sick D, and willed them to a victory.
I read yeah, sick D, and then he had like 14 points in a row or something. Yeah.
So what do you make of this right now, Scotty? I mean, is this too soon for the hype, or is this?
No, he's worthy of the hype.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think as far as the number one recruit goes, like he is living up to everything he's been asked to live up to so far. I mean, I would argue, we've talked so much about the Mavs getting Cooper Flagg. I would argue AJ is even a higher ceiling prospect, and thus far has garnered, I think, more attention for good reason. Yeah, I think he's that good.
Well, and you hear like, look, it's one thing to hear, okay, he's having success. It's another thing to hear he's dominating.
He's dominating others his age who are the best in the country. Yeah.
I mean,
that's the report.
And I can say this truly, like from working with USA Basketball, like again, this is a long time ago, but I was working with a team where Kelvin Sampson was the coach, Tom Crean was an assistant, but you had like Adam Morrison, Charlie Villanueva, Sean May, guys who were big time prospects at the time. And I don't remember anybody hands down dominating. It's hard to do that when you're playing amongst a bunch of other all-stars.
Well, and
that speaks to
not to let my biases play too much into this here, but we heard a different report out of Hoop Summit because you've got the
Tunde.
it's the whole international side, right?
Yeah.
Tunde being one of the big ones, but several guys, playing for that side. So, as we've talked about the dynamics of basketball shifting, more and more and more international players, maybe surpassing a lot of Americans in a lot of ways. It is interesting that AJ seems to just absolutely be head and shoulders over the other. Now, not every American's at this camp. The Boozers, not there. There's some others like that.
Yeah.
But of the guys there, AJ is just killing. Koa Pete's there.
Yeah.
Baylor commit recently. Isaiah Williams is there. And Dybansta's just kind of running circles around them.
What's up with his YouTube page?
Yeah, so that's what I wanted to talk about.
This guy, Scotty, is so pumped about this.
Yeah. So AJ's getting both buckets and subscribers here. So he's got 14,000 subscribers on a YouTube page that has just 7 videos up here. I'll show you the screenshot I took today of his YouTube page. This is what it looks like. AJ Dybansta on YouTube. His most recent video, 57,000 views. BYU students share their NBA hot takes. He's just walking around campus, and it's fantastic. I watched it today. He's walking around campus going, "Hey, you want some free clout?" Because everyone knows who he is. You got to imagine any dude on that campus knows who he is, right? I mean, and he's the tallest guy on campus, right? So he's walking around with a microphone going, "Hey, you want some free clout? Come be on my YouTube." And he's asking them for their hot takes. Now, if I could give some advice to AJ Dybansta, which I am not qualified to do, but I'm going to anyway, I would say he needs to work on his on-camera presence a little bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's kind of like look. He's looking like he's tall, so he's looking down a lot. But it seems like I want him to look at the camera more. He's kind of, but like the dude has potential, bro. And what it made me think of, and we talked about this just kind of before the break, I teased this kind of new media landscape that you and I are taking advantage of by doing this show. That I think we really saw emerge in Division I athletics when Deion Sanders took over Colorado. And he's literally got dudes on that Colorado staff that their job is to document and put it on Instagram. Like that's what they do. And I think AJ is really savvy and smart to use this momentum where he doesn't have any haters yet, right? There's nobody right now that's like selling AJ Dybansta stock. We're all kind of buying it and waiting to see what happens at BYU. Great time for him to go up, build a following, build some maybe personality, likability, get some people in America getting to know him. This is how you build a brand to where, dude, you go average even 16 and 11 at BYU this season, and you've built tens of thousands of subscribers on YouTube, you're going to get the Nike deal. You're going to, right? Like that's the new, that is the world we live in. So I saw his YouTube channel a couple days ago. I looked into it a little more this morning, and I was just like, it made me like him.
Yeah.
I'm going to be rooting against him this season as a Baylor guy, but I'm like,
do you get any, so he's from Brockton, Massachusetts. Any like Massachusetts flair, anything like that? Like, and do you get any
dude, I need to watch more of his content.
Okay.
The next video I'm going to watch, here, I'll throw this screenshot back up. You see on the bottom left there, I worked at McDonald's for a day. I don't know if that's a Trump-inspired or Trump counter or nothing to do with Donald Trump because, of course, he had that stunt in his campaign. But I saw that. I was like, I have to watch that. I have to watch AJ Dybansta sticking his head out the McDonald's window, right? Like, I think – you see here on the top right, he answered the 100 men versus gorilla question, which I joked with you we should do on this show, and we never got around to it. Like it seems like he has an awareness of the content that will get clicks, how to use his rising stardom and his social currency to gain a following. And I think it's smart. Makes me like him.
Yeah.
It makes me want to root for him, even though I will be rooting against him in Big 12 play this year. Like he seems like a really genuine, likable person. And again, I just was laughing my butt off this morning. He's walking around campus going, "Hey, you want some free clout? You want some free clout? Get on my YouTube." And like dudes are like, "Yeah, bro." You know, like of course.
Do you know what I love about him right now?
Tell me.
And it speaks to what this is why this YouTube channel is so cool. He's almost like a rumor. And this is what I mean. Unless you're like really diving deep into the AJ Dybansta media and trying to find clips of him playing all the time, which I know a lot of our BYU friends are. But the average fan just keeps hearing about how sensational he is.
Right, we get the report from FIBA.
You haven't seen
report from Hoop
You
Summit.
haven't
Yeah.
seen. I mean,
Right.
a lot of people, even though McDonald's, Hoop Summit, like not many people really watch those games.
I didn't tune in for the games.
I did, but like, I don't know that like, it's just nationwide. Like, I don't even know if I don't think he had a high school game. I shouldn't say this. He probably had a high school game on major.
But the fact that you don't know lends itself to this point. Yeah.
Yes. So he's a bit of a mystery, which is like even more exciting. And to find out what he'll be like in the Big 12, I mean, he is like Hubert Davis is a court coach, they call them, at that USA basketball event right now as they're getting ready to take on the world. By the way, those games are going to be on USA Basketball's YouTube starting like late, I think 10 days or something like that. So it's cool. So we can watch there. But there is like a mystery around him.
Yeah.
And it's exciting.
Yeah, it is.
And so I don't know. I can't. Oh, this is what I was saying. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. With Hubert Davis, he's going to be playing in a few months, North Carolina, in one of those like scrimmages. So like, it's about to go down. Like when I was
about to see it.
I was reading about that this morning, and I was like, wow, okay, like he's going to be playing another big time college program, even though it's just a scrimmage in a couple months. Like we're almost there. And I am very, very excited for the bubble wrap to come off this dude and just to see him be prolific, right?
Yeah.
That's what he's supposed to be. He went to prolific prep. I can't wait to see how prolific he is when he enters college basketball. And the Big 12. We are so lucky
we are.
that this guy's in the Big 12 playing in our conference. And your boy, I don't want to get out of here without talking about what Scott Drew. Give me the update on Scott Drew.
Well, here, let me finish with AJ real quick, and then
yeah.
we'll move into Drew because I want to talk Baylor. But I'm going to say a positive thing about BYU and then probably not do it all basketball season. This is why I saw a bunch of people kind of griping when we talked again about Rob Wright last week because Scott Drew did a press conference and get over it, move on. Like, this is why the Rob Wright signing is so brilliant for BYU and why it makes so much sense for him to play there. I'll give them this because him playing next to AJ Dybansta is frightening.
Yeah.
It is so scary. Like AJ Dybansta can do anything on a basketball court. And now you're going to put him with what I thought was one of the best creators, pass first point guards in America last year with Rob Wright.
Unselfish, like
dude, total
like in his
true
bones,
point guard,
in his
true point guard.
Yeah.
Like he's gonna penetrate and kick. That's what he wants to do. But then if he has to shoot the three, if he has to score, brother, that guy can go score.
And when
right?
you least expect it, he'll get in traffic and hit a shot
Dude.
among all the bigs. And it's usually a shot you really need.
Rob Wright's gonna make someone come help, and AJ's going to come screaming down the baseline. And we loved watching it with VJ last year, but AJ's another level, right? AJ's going to come screaming down the baseline, lob threat. It's going to be Showtime Provo.
Yeah.
It's going to be wild.
It is. And we know about Rob Wright. How he'll fit in there, remains to be seen. But there's a lot of excitement around the mystery that is AJ Dybansta, but you got to feel good that Rob Wright is somebody with the keys that's going to be in control.
Now that we've talked about that, Baylor had a 100% roster turnover in basketball. There are no players coming back from last year's team. Thanks, Rob Wright, for that. But Scott Drew, I thought we talked about AJ Dybansta being really social media savvy. I thought this was really smart. I thought this was really smart of Baylor Athletics. Scott Drew did about a 3-minute, and I thought about showing it, but I didn't know, copyright and this and that. He did about a 3-minute introduction to the roster. And you know how?
No way.
Oh yeah, it's on Twitter, it's on YouTube. So you know how he is. I mean, we've both interacted with Scott before.
Yeah.
Beaming, Baylor fans, you're gonna love this roster. I thought we'd introduce these guys to you. You're gonna love seeing them play in Foster. He's so excited about it. But he just walks through every single player.
I'm guessing it's on Baylor Athletics.
It is.
Okay.
It's on Baylor Basketball's Twitter, YouTube. It's all that.
Yeah.
He walks through every player briefly, their accolades, what they do on the court, and why he's excited about having them. And it's just with highlights, right? And it was just, I thought, a really easy, simple, smart way to like maybe win back some of those Baylor basketball fans who are like, what the heck is happening? Like, do we have a culture problem? Because Scott sounds excited about it. Scott Drew could talk me into, I think, doing anything in the world. Scott Drew could be like, you need to jump off this 10,000-foot cliff. You need to go base jumping, and you don't need a parachute. It's just going to be awesome. And I'd probably be like, yes, sir. Like, done. Like that's just who Scott Drew is. Yeah. But of note, he specifically talked about Tunde winning the dunk contest at McDonald's and said he's going to fire every Baylor fan up, right? Of course. He talked about Obi Agbum's ability to create his own shot, which I think is really pivotal for this roster. He talked about Michael Perez's ability to do a lot of savvy things on the basketball court. He talked about Bodo being just a defensive nightmare. But then it's Cam Skillings, being a Big 12 familiar, average,
Dan Skillings.
He goes, Skillings averaged 15 points a game against the Baylor Bears. We're really happy he's going to be playing for the Baylor Bears. You know how Scott Drew is.
Yeah.
But at the end, he said exactly what I've been telling you on this show, Pete. He said, here's the deal. We have size, we have length, we have depth, and I'm really excited to see how good we're going to be. And that's exactly what we talked about. It is the exact opposite of last year's roster.
Yeah.
Last year's roster did not have size, did not have depth, did not have length.
Yeah.
They suffered for it defensively. They suffered for it offensively when Josh O went down.
Yeah.
You've almost swung the pendulum for Baylor basketball in the opposite direction with how you've built this roster.
Do you think is there a chance that because the length, then the lack of it was jarring, right? Late last year especially.
Dude,
do you think there's a chance that they've overcompensated?
I think we will know very quickly.
Okay.
Because here's where Baylor is short in depth, and I wouldn't even say short, just it's a different look. Scott Drew, for most of his seasons at Baylor, goes guard heavy rosters. Like he believes in guard play. I mean, you heard King McClure talk about it with us a few weeks ago. Guard heavy play. It is not abnormal for Scott Drew to have 4 guards on the court.
More guards than Buckingham Palace.
Dude, 4 guards with a 7-footer. It's not weird for Scott to do that. Not all of his rosters have been that way. This roster reminds me of the first couple Elite 8 Baylor teams where you had 3 7-foot wingspans on the bottom of a 2-3 zone with Quincy Acey and Anthony Jones. Josh Lomers, Baylor fans will remember all those guys. But where we're going to struggle, you've got Obi Agbum's the clear kind of starting point guard, can score 18 a game, can shoot. You got J.J. White backing him up, played at Omaha last year. You really don't have any true guards other than that who are going to get minutes. You've got
just those 2 guys?
Here's what you've got instead. You've got a lot of what I would just call multi-role wingers, right? Tunde can play the 2, but he's really more of a 3. Michael Ratai could theoretically kind of play a guard, but he's 6'9". Michael Perez, I don't think anybody knows how many minutes he's actually going to get. He's like 6'8". They call him a point forward, right? Yeah. You've got a lot of long, athletic guys who can kind of play positions 1 through 4, but not a lot of guys who are true 1 or 2s. Does that make sense?
Yeah, where the hell's Miro Little when you need him, huh?
Dude, but you don't have a lot of I would say this. There's not a true. If Obi Agbum is going to play point guard, which I think he is, you actually don't have a true shooting guard anywhere on this roster. You've got 2 pretty good points in Obi and JJ, and you got a bunch of wings. You got a bunch of long, athletic wings.
So you just told me they did overcompensate.
A little bit. but the thing is, they can all shoot. Tunde's shooting is a little questionable, but Ratai can shoot, Skillings can shoot.
Ball handling. What about ball handling?
Cam Carr can shoot. Yeah. All these guys can shoot.
What about ball handling, though?
Again, you've got athletic, long wings who can kind of do all of it. It's kind of it's really the most I've seen Scott, I think, lean into this positionless basketball thing of everyone's asking, well, who's going to start for Baylor? I'm like, there's 8 possible starting
and he loves that. He loves, and he's told us this before, he loves a starting rotation as opposed to a starting lineup.
But the truth
is,
a hockey team. The only thing we know about the way this Baylor team is going to roll out, I think, starting 5. Obi Agbum's going to start because that dude averaged 18 points a game last year at Wyoming and can shoot the heck out of the basketball.
Yeah.
Juslin Bodo is going to start because he is the prototypical Scott Drew center who's not going to score a lot, but he's going to block a lot of shots, rebound a lot of basketball, set good screens.
Okay.
Those two are going to start at 1 and 5. Who's going to start at 2 through 4, and who's actually going to play 2, 3, and 4? It's anybody's guess at this point. Probably Tunde, but like 2 or the 3, I don't know. Maybe Cam Carr, maybe Skillings, probably Michael Ratai, but we really don't know.
Have you brought up the kid from Midway yet? Is he going to play?
Okay, Caden Powell. I think he's going to get equal minutes to Bodo as at center.
Okay.
As the first guy off the bench.
Okay.
I think it's very much going to be a two-person rotation at that 5 spot with Caden Powell's his name and then Juslin Bodo.
All right, and so the roster we're done.
Oh yeah, it's locked.
Okay.
Locked in. But I would encourage Baylor fans, if you've kind of been out of the loop, or you're like,
totally.
I'm not sure these guys are, go watch that video.
Dude, I'm gonna watch it.
It's fun. It's short. It's a good intro, and then you might find 2 guys that you're like, that's interesting to me, and then you can go research more about. I
mean, honestly, as a guy who does play-by-play, I wish every coach in the Big 12 would do that.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
Because with all of the transactions and transition, and there's so many changes, there's a brand new roster. It seems like every year, and that's fine. By the way, one more plug for our network here, Rogue Media. Mac Rhodes was on. Was it 365?
Yeah.
Right? He was awesome. And it's he gave a great breakdown of what we're doing right now.
Mac's pretty transparent for an AD.
Dude, he was awesome. I mean, I learned so much. So that interview is, I think it's on the 365 YouTube, but they did like 30 minutes with Mac, and Smokey and those guys just kicked ass.
Yeah,
like they got a lot of real good intel out of him. You know, Catalina does a good job. Like when it's Catalina's turn to ask a question, he filibusters for a little bit. You know, he shows off his skill set.
Matt Mosley does that too.
Mosley does. I mean, we all do it to a degree, right? but because Paul's like a comedian, so he always goes into like a quick little thing.
Well, you know what I always say.
Yeah. And he got Mac too. He said, "Well, it's like all of a sudden," he was talking about when they went to NIL. He was like, all of a sudden, it was like a town with no stoplights. They took all the stoplights away, and Mac like that. He said, She said you reminded me of Dave Aranda with the analogies.
Oh my gosh,
it was good. But which got me thinking. By the way, we're going to start seeing a lot of Dave Aranda soon. So
let's go.
Just a great time.
Last comment on the basketball roster, and I know we're out of time. We've talked about the need for Drew to get back to developing players.
Yeah.
We've talked about the optimism that 2 prominent NBA players' sons have now committed to Baylor.
Yes.
His only comment on Iguodala, he said, great kid, son of Andre Iguodala, and he goes, he's going to have a great career at Baylor.
That's good to know.
And I love that comment because I think he's immediately saying, hey, even if he's not on the court season 1, he's here. We're going to develop him. He's going to be great.
Yeah.
And that's what we want to hear out of that.
Lil Dre, part of the process. Go. All right, we'll be back tomorrow. Anna Camden is going to join us, former women's basketball player at Penn State and Richmond, and now she's a social media star. And she's been putting up some really cool videos about the WNBA and what's been going on with all of the tension, right, that culminated in that tussle, and more. So we're going to talk to Anna tomorrow, and, of course, we'll be recapping Game 6 of the finals. It'll be a Friday on the Pete Sousa Show. But please subscribe, watch the videos. Take it easy, some of you WNBA fans. I mean, some of those comments, I can't believe it. So just settle down over there. It's sports, okay? We love you. Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. See you.
It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at 70 miles an hour. I was injured, had a concussion. The insurance company, they delayed. They were playing games from the initial conversation. They weren't going to help me. The biggest thing I learned through this is that you can't go through this alone. I called Daniel Stark. They were going to help me, and everything was going to be all right. Daniel Stark got me 10 times the insurance company offered.
The difference is Stark.
Sports.
We are Rogue Media Sports.